Peace and greetings. Hello, Wind. And hello, everyone who is watching and listening and feeling into this transmission. Thank you so much for joining. Wherever you are, whoever you are, however you are, whenever you are, you're highly welcome in this shared energetic space. Remember that anytime you participate in an event or are listening to a podcast or watching a video or music that is created by anyone from Living Earth Sanctuary, that you are a part of the sanctuary and you are protected by the sanctuary. So as you're listening to this transmission, you are protected by the Living Earth Sanctuary. So keep that in mind. The Earth is alive and you are alive and you are connected to her anywhere you go. Whether you're inside, outside, anywhere you go, you are the Earth and you are connected to the living Earth. So I do like to bring that reminder into the forefront of people's minds. I'm so excited to begin this series. My name is Vili. Some of you know me as Vili, some of you know me as Wind. You're welcome to think of me as either. This is the first of many videos, podcasts, lectures that will be in a long series, just continually giving updates and keeping you connected to what Living Earth Sanctuary is working on and playing on and singing about and thinking about. This is just a way to stay in the loop. You'll see these videos updated or uploaded to likely YouTube, definitely Patreon, and maybe some other places as well as we get going. And you will definitely see the comfort level of mine and of other healers and lecturers and wisdom keepers who are going to be on your screen. You'll see our comfort and skill in front of the camera increase as we go. This is my second taking this video. I did recorded about 20 minutes of a video already and realized that my microphone was off the entire time. So it is a learning process, getting comfortable with the technology. I have a dear friend who I'm sure you'll see at some point on these videos. We always talk about how she is a metal zodiac sign in the Eastern Zodiac, and I am wood. And so, and in Western astrology, I'm very strongly fire. So wood and fire are two elements that very much resonate with me. Metal, not my forte, but we are learning how to work with the modern technologies and integrate light, greater amounts of light into them. So dovetailing on that wording, the integration of light will be one of the themes for this video. Integrating the light that has come down to us and through us, up through us from the past winter solstice that has just recently passed. So we'll be talking a lot about winter solstice in this video, including some details about a winter solstice gathering that many of us experienced in my beautiful hometown in the ancestral homelands of the Ganyangahaga people in Mohawk Valley, my ancestors. So I will get into that a little bit later. But first, I would love to give a land acknowledgement of where I am currently in this transmission, in this pocket of time and space. I am currently here in what is now the city called Washington, D.C., in the so-called capital of the so-called United States. That is where I am. This is the ancestral homelands of the Nacotchtank, Piscataway, Pamunkey, Powhatan, Monacan, and Mattaponi people. I give thanks to the ancestors who walked here before I have ever set foot here, before I was ever in this physical existence in this form. I give thanks and give presence of my mind and my heart to those ancestors. I love to acknowledge the human ancestors and also the current living humans who are here. So if you are watching this and you are an Indigenous person from this area and you're feeling inspired by the transmission that you're receiving, and you'd like to reach out and collaborate and be part of the Living Earth Sanctuary, you're already part of the Living Earth Sanctuary, but please, feel free to reach out in any way you can. I'm going to pause this video so I can go get this guy. Okay, and just like that, yes, the plant and animal world is always giving us reasons to pause. Speaking of plants and animals, one of the living Indigenous residents of this land I'm currently on is right here next to me. I love to bring our attention and focus back to the plant realm always. So I won't promise for all, so I can give space for what the future unfolds, what the future contains, but I will say in most of the videos you will see with me in them, we'll take a moment to give some attention to the plant bodies that are nearby. So here's one very powerful plant ally called Mahonia. Mahonia is a very powerful friend with holly-like leaves. She's very spiky, a little bit waxy to the touch. She has, when she blooms, she has bright yellow flowers. And that yellow color is also shared by her roots, which are most commonly used in medicinal preparations from Mahonia. A very well-known plant in the Mahonia family is Oregon grape, which is very common in the Pacific Northwest. That is the cousin of Mahonia that I became most familiar with when I lived out in Oregon many years ago. Not many years ago. A couple years ago, like four years ago. Anyway, but her medicinal properties are largely the same. Mahonia contains the alkaloid berberine, which is this beautiful bright yellow substance that you can see in her roots. So when her roots are harvested, usually in the springtime, I think I remember harvesting her roots in... Oh wait, was it spring? I think you can harvest them in the spring and the fall. Double check on that. I thought it was April that we harvested some roots from her. But anyway, if and when you harvest those roots at the perfect time, and I encourage you to do your research, a powerful decoction can be made from her roots. You can make it, a decoction is basically a tea that is boiled for about 20 minutes or more. This can be used as an antimicrobial, especially for the digestive tract. So Mahonia is very commonly worked with to make our digestive tract less hospitable for harmful bacteria. So she is considered antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and she very much assists with cleansing the gut tract or the gut and the digestive tract of parasites, bad bacteria, the kind of little critters that get inside us that we do not like. Do keep her in mind. She is also very commonly known for her liver cleansing qualities. So this is also something that we can experience from yellow dock, who also has that bright yellow root. So do keep that in mind. The color yellow often indicates a plant that is helpful to our liver, so that's something that you can see come up again and again. So that's just a little blurb on Mahonia. This was just whatever off the cuff I had on my mind. I didn't go out of my way to do a lot of research for the specific plant, but I just saw her here and wanted to say a little something about her. So I give thanks for her for being present. Thank you, Mahonia. So as I said, I am here in the modern day city of Washington, D.C., the so-called capital of the so-called United States. I'm here in this amazing, powerful place called Malcolm X Park. So if you live in this area, I highly recommend that you get down to Malcolm X Park, especially on a Sunday. If you're from DC, you already know. And if you're not, or if you're new to DC, then you just have to come here on Sundays for the drum circle. I don't know if they do it over the winter, and I am standing here in Capricorn season. on a waxing Aries moon to be precise, just after winter solstice. So it feels like a chilly fall day for me as someone from Mohawk Land in modern day upstate New York. It does feel kind of like just a chilly fall day, but it is winter, so I don't know if they do have the drum circle currently. But in the warm months, they definitely have it every Sunday. It's an amazingly powerful event. You can just see folks of all kinds, all colors, all shapes, all backgrounds coming together to dance and drum and trade. It's a very beautiful space, very powerful space, revolutionary space. I highly recommend checking it out if you're in the area at that time. So today, I would love to really get into talking about this post-solstice portal and what one can experience at this time. So before I invite us to be present with that energy, I want to talk a little bit about a solstice gathering that we had back up in the Mohawk Valley, in our present-day town of Little Falls. And I'm going to pause this transmission one more time as I retrieve my four-legged guardian. I'll be right back. Okay, and welcome back, and I welcome myself back. Bagu is always making friends, which we love about him. And here he is, just to put him on the camera and say hi. Here's our guy. Just turned 7 years old a couple days ago, on the 25th. Still going strong, even through his middle age. So he will pretty much always be here, and a common feature of these lectures and these posts. So back to this topic of solstice. We had the most beautiful gathering in our hometown just a couple days ago. To describe it a little bit, we've had a couple solstice, summer solstice and winter solstice gatherings in Little Falls. We've had some fall equinox and also spring equinox gatherings, though I'm usually not there for the spring because I do like to go away for the cold months, and it's usually still way too cold for me in the Northeast to go back home anytime before April, so I usually do miss the spring equinox there. But we had a lovely gathering this year. I'll tell you a little bit about it. There was about 4 to 5 of us who were the most involved in the planning and coordination of this gathering. There was effort put in, but I feel that it was very natural. You know, we didn't push it too hard. We didn't stress out about it, not too much. You know, we just kind of let it unfold and did what we felt called to do, did what we felt naturally good at. The day of the gathering, it ended up being about all day long on the 21st. It was from about noon until, let's say, like 9 or 10 p.m. It began with a sweet opening circle. It was very short and sweet. We just had everyone introduce themselves, their name, their pronouns, and their intention for the gathering and what brought them there. We had all kinds of stations set up for people. You know, one of them was a letter writing station where people could sit and write and make cards and things like that. That was just one example. We had many different events and workshops throughout the day. One of them that kind of served as an icebreaker was a conversation circle that was very potent. It was basically a bunch of people sitting in a circle and discussing certain prompts. Prompts that normally came as questions that we could answer for each other and discuss with each other, get to know each other better, let ourselves be seen a little bit, tell our story. It was a beautiful way to get to know some people, especially people who I knew, I got to know them better, and people who I didn't know, I got to know them. So it was a lovely event and a great way to just share conscious words with people. One of the other workshops that we did and that we shared was a conscious breathwork workshop that was based in the ancient Indian tradition of pranayama. So that was awesome for learning just some more techniques for consciously breathing, for bringing our mind, body, and spirit into alignment through our breath. So that was just lovely to experience. It's something that I had experienced before, but it was nice to dive a little deeper in that session. we also had an open mic in which people went up person by person and shared different talents, different poetry of theirs. So we saw a lot of amazing expressions through that, a lot of very powerful poems, beautiful songs. One of the cool parts of that was an intimacy. It was like a mini intimacy workshop that someone did as part of the open mic, in which everyone, well, not everyone, but in which a lot of people coupled up and faced their partner and just engaged in conscious eye gazing. And while we were eye gazing, the facilitator was was bringing up different memories that we might have with that person, different emotions that we might have for that person, inviting us to just be conscious with it and to really gaze into the depths of that person's eyes as those memories came up, right? To take notice of what we saw, to take notice of what was coming up for us, and to really tune into the subtle levels of emotion and expression that can wash through someone's eyes when we're really paying attention to them deeply. So that I loved it. That was such a powerful thing. I felt so inspired to do more work like that. And that was just one small piece of this amazing day. There was a potluck that went all day. That was wonderful. People brought salad and soups and breads and cookies, and there was tea and coffee, and it was just lovely and cozy. I feel like everyone ate so well, and there were so many leftovers. There was tomato pie, which is just a famous local ism that you'll find in the central New York region. And then there was an open jam as well that was short and sweet, where people played a bunch of musical instruments all together. And then that led into a ritual theater performance that was put on by myself and a couple other people who I haven't asked if I could name them on the video, so I'll say there was 2 other actors, so to speak, and then 2 musicians. The whole experience was, in a way, like a guided meditation. There was a meditative soundscape that was played by the musicians that was just incredible, channeled from their soul, most of it improv'd, and just like kind of like repeated improv. Like they would play something and be like, yeah, that sounds good, and then play it again the next time and the next time. And it just naturally built this gorgeous soundscape for us to move to and dance to, and for our narrator, who was channeling a goddess of darkness and shadows, that's referring to the cosmic womb, the beginning of time, silence, the rest and relief that comes after one leaves this body. That's what I mean when I say darkness. So the goddess of darkness was very much present at that. What word do I want to use that feels appropriate? It was an act of ritual theater. I didn't want to say production, right? I didn't want to say... I try to be very careful with the words that I use in English, because English can be powerful in a way that I don't always enjoy. But that was the gist of our gathering. That we had a clothing circle where people named what they loved about the gathering and what they experienced and what they were grateful for. And we talked about the future of about our next gathering coming, which will be spring equinox. That again, I will not be present in Little Falls to attend, but it will be happening. So one of the things that, Solstice is really, yes, it's about the gathering, but it's really simply about the light and the play between light and darkness, of course. So that was the entire point of the ritual theater piece that we did. It was called A Dance of Oak and Cedar. And it was all about oak and cedar being these 2 guardian spirits that protect the summer and winter, respectively. And each time solstice comes around, whether it be for summer or for winter, the dance continues on, and the 2 spirits come together and dance with each other and are united and find balance as we celebrate the shifting of powers and influences between darkness and light. We really are just celebrating the balance of nature. So there's so much to be said on that. I find that one of the things you'll see people talk about a lot in modern day spiritual community is light codes. So what do we mean when we say light codes? We mean the information that comes simply from viewing light, simply from absorbing light. There is information that's there that's very subtle, that the essence of your inner being is picking up on and learning from and digesting and integrating. You are absorbing light codes anytime you look at the sun, anytime you look at a candle, anytime you look at someone else's eyes, you're absorbing light codes. You are receiving information that way. So something that I also want to talk about that I don't really hear mentioned is also shadow codes, right? This is the information that comes up when you gaze into the abyss, when you close your eyes, when you really look into the cosmic darkness that is present, that is ever present. Certain codes, certain information, certain vibration will come through. So around solstice, I find that the codes of light and shadow are even more potent. So, for instance, if you stay up through the darkest night, the longest night, and you really look into the darkness in the sky and in the forest, something will come up for you. You'll be reminded of something deep within you that you can't quite put your finger on, but it's important, and you know it's important. And likewise, just as you can get that information from the shadows, you can get that information most definitely from the light, especially the light of the dawn, right after solstice night. If you wake up in the morning as early as possible, the earlier the better, and look to the eastern sky, look at that blue sapphire sky and really absorb and look at the codes of light literally written out on the sky from the sun that is rising. And I can't help but notice that the quality of light on the dawn after solstice is so just epic. It's so healing and specific, and it has so much to say, the light on that day. Like, I can't stop looking at the sun, the day after solstice night. So I highly recommend that, in the future, as the cycles of time and the wheel of the year continues to turn, that you feel called to give extra attention to the light on those days and see what comes up for you. So the thing is, whether or not you were conscious of the light that you received on that day, you did receive it. Whether or not you were conscious of the light codes, you did receive them. Even if you just saw the light reflected off of a cup for a minute, even if you just a little second of the light, something came through, right? Because we live in a holographic universe. So even if you get just a little bit of the light, you're getting all of it. So that means that light is still within you. Now, the longer your exposure to the light and the light codes, I think the more complete they can feel, the easier it may be to integrate the information. But a microdose, we love a microdose, so that is okay too. So what I'm saying, and I'm going to pause real quickly so I can summon my four-legged friend. Okay, he's back. Light codes, solstice. Yes, integrating that light. So, I highly encourage you to take some time with me, take a couple breaths, and reflect on solstice time. Even if you didn't celebrate, even if you didn't gather, reflect on what's come up for you in the past couple days. You don't have to think about it that hard. Just feel into it. Feel into that vibration. And as you feel into that vibration, you're amplifying the resonance of the light codes. You're amplifying the resonance of the shadow codes. You're amplifying the resonance of what has come up for you and what's come through for you in this recent chapter. So please feel free to take a couple deep breaths with me. And anytime you hear me ask for deep breaths, I'm always going to be talking about in and out through the nose. And we want to take relaxed breaths from our diaphragm, right? Not so much getting the shoulder movement like you just saw from me, but a little bit more of a belly movement. And really reflect on solstice time. Reflect on the light that came up for you. Reflect on the lessons that you've been learning. and just take some time to let that light in a little bit more. All right, let the crack in your mind open a little bit more so that the light can come in. And as always, I highly encourage you to pause if you'd like to take more time to breathe. We'll be here. Bagu check. Okay. So once again, this really is just like an introductory video for what will be a long series of check-ins. My goal is to upload a lecture, a podcast, an update at least once a month, if not more. So please feel free to stay tuned. If you check out our Patreon, you will see that there are options for supporting the journey of Living Earth Sanctuary, and that could be me, that could be me and one other person, that could be me and several people, that could be whatever we're doing. You would be supporting that by what you choose to share. So, and if you want to know what you're supporting, keep watching these videos and you will see. You're supporting the sharing of this kind of information. You are supporting the spread of light and energy. You are supporting certain individuals who consider themselves holistic healers and community activists. So, yeah, this is a new endeavor, and I'm just very excited to have received the calling to initiate this. And how perfect that there is a calling to initiate something of this nature at this time, which is we're in the season of Capricorn Sun on a day of Aries Moon, a waxing Aries Moon, no less. So I'm very much feeling that Aries energy today. I felt very inspired to start something new, a new creative project, a new endeavor. I had a little bit of coffee this morning, which is pretty rare for me, but it's such an Aries potion for me in a way. It just pushes me out the door. It makes me more lively, more confident, more sure of myself, more full of fire. And in a type of literal way, I feel, that kind of like caffeinated fire within that I personally associate with even just being an Aries. We just have this kind of fire in our bellies at all times, and in our heads, to be honest. And another herbal ally that showed up today from a local organic market is nettles. And nettles is also a plant that is very much associated with Aries. So I thought it was cool that those small synchronicities came together today, just in the form of plant allies. Coffee and tea are plant allies, very present plant allies, I might add. So if you are curious to talk more about solstice celebrations, or to learn more about these sort of like seasonal reflections, definitely stay tuned in. Definitely keep watching these videos, because we will be talking about them. At a certain point, you'll see, I'm sure, a video that covers every point of the year, every seasonal transition that we experience, no matter where on the face of this beautiful living earth we are at the time. So if you have ideas for celebrating solstice, or questions about how you can integrate these celebrations into your life, feel free to comment down below and we can talk about that. Or if you just like to send a private message, you're more than welcome to do that too, and I'm happy to speak with you. You do not have to feel like you need to be a supporter or a patron or someone who's making any kinds of donations to reach out. You're more than welcome to just reach out. And if I feel a capacity to respond and to discuss with you, I will do that. Or maybe someone else will too, because there's going to be more than one healer paying attention to the internet side of things as well. So I give thanks to all of y'all who are checking in throughout time and space. Again, this is part of a series, so you're going to see a lot coming from me in the coming seasons. I'm currently going on a beautiful journey, journeying down the east coast of Turtle Island. Once again, I am in modern day city of Washington, D.C., the so-called capital of the so-called United States. That is where I'm at currently. Each check-in, you'll probably see me in a different place for the next couple transmissions. So thank you for joining me on the journey. Thank you for supporting us on this journey. And I so look forward to sharing more focus, attention, concentration, and energy with all of you. Peace, and may peace be with you in your heart and in your mind and in your spirit. And we will talk to you all very soon. Take care.